afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on folks, your man, all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. Can you believe we got one more week left
Hmm.
of September, and then yo, it's gonna be Halloween. Halloween is coming. All the spooks are out. I remember that song, the kid, and it seems like we just started 2024. We just got 3 more months left. It's crazy,
Crazy.
folks. Time is
It's
flying.
crazy.
Yeah. So, folks, as you know, as a content maker, I always reach out to ladies out here who interest my who pique my interest. As you know, last week I had an interview with a lovely lady. Her name is Chelsea Rogers. She's IFB Pro, and during our interview, a couple of clients were sitting, and I reached out to one of them, say, "Hey, you want to come on and talk about your story and share, what got you started bodybuilding?" So she responded, and she's very, reciprocative about doing it. So we have here the lovely Miss Alina Russell,
Yep.
and she is I now NPC competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
That's
sometimes,
what I'm towards.
yeah, she wants you for the IFBB. So we're
Yeah.
gonna talk to her about
Happen.
how she got started, what's her plans for this year, and just like I said, just shoot the shit. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah.
Really happy and excited to be invited and be here. It was pretty awesome. Chelsea is she's probably my best friend, my best girlfriend for sure. We do have been doing a lot together. She's also my coach, so that's pretty interesting as well too. Having like your best friend as your coach, she keeps me very accountable. There's no hiding anything from her, so that's always really nice. And yeah, she's one of the most beautiful persons that I've ever really known. So I appreciate her very much. So yeah.
Yeah. That's good to have that relationship with your coach and your friendship.
Hmm.
It's good to have close bonds. But this is a question I often ask you ladies. What
Hmm.
got you started in this sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Well, honestly, I've always been, an athlete, and I've always been, my body type has always been muscular, and I've never been a skinny girl. I've always been very strong and very muscular. And so, growing up and through into early adulthood and playing sports all that time, like I had always looked at bodybuilders, you see them on TV and all that. And I had always been inspired by them. And, I even remember being really young, like maybe 11 or 12, and I took a VHS tape and I video recorded one of the Olympia shows that was on and recorded it because I was like so inspired. Like, I want to do that one day. I want to go on stage. That's so cool. And to think that now, through all that, after having a baby and everything else, and you can't play those high school college sports that we used to play, and it's like, but I still identify as an athlete. Like, what am I going to do? And lifting weights and exercising really makes me feel alive. It's also like, it's therapy, and it does so much for my soul. And to be able to take that and be able to have a sport in line with it, and then really push yourself. I'm all about, like, I always want to see how far I can go. Is there a limit? What's my limit? What is my potential? And to me, putting yourself in that degree on stage, that's it, opening up your potential. That's seeing yourself at your utmost, like, peak of what you can do, and you have pushed yourself to the limits, to the max that you can. And that's just, it's like no other feeling kind of like that. Like, you have gave it all, gave it everything. And it's a single person sport. So, I'm not depending on anyone else to carry me. Like, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. You have no one to blame but yourself if you mess up, and I mean, you do have a team as far as your coach and your support team and your structure and things like that. But as far as, like, they're not going on stage with you, it's all you. And, putting yourself out there and just kind of letting your own personality. I really love that about it too. You can let your personality come through, and that's actually a really good thing to do. With how you pose and your routine and how you do yourself up and stuff. It's kind of like a beauty pageant with muscles. So to be able to express yourself, like that. So it's just been very, like, I feel like it's like what I was born to do. It's what I was built for this, genetically, and in my brain and in my heart and everything else. Like, it makes me feel feel alive. It's what makes me feel like I have this purpose, you know, and then showing and inspiring other people, women and stuff, to be strong. And you know, you don't have to feel weak. You don't have to feel, you know, like you can't do things. Like, you can be a woman and you can be beautiful and feminine and all those things and be strong and you know, have muscle, and you know, not have to rely on anybody else for things and stuff. Like, empowering other women to be strong is really important to me, and it also gives me a lot of purpose. And I want my daughter to look at me and think, you know, like, my mom's strong. She could got this. Like, and to aspire to be a strong, independent woman. I mean, the world it's harsh and it's hard, and it doesn't stop for anybody, and it doesn't care. And you have to be strong physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. You just have to be. And so being a single mom by myself, you know, and raising a daughter and working and wanting to show her that no matter what, I want you to go for your dreams and your passions, no matter how ridiculous and crazy they may seem or be. Like, I want her to see me always never give up, you know? We hit struggles and hard points, and life is a bitch sometimes, but you know, you get back up and you keep freaking going, and you don't give up on your dream, because that's how you achieve anything, right? And I try to tell her, like, you can get anything you want. You'll get anything you want in this world as long as you just don't give up. It's just a matter of time. You just don't give up, and you'll get it. So that's kind of just what I want her to see. And I don't care what her dream is. I don't care if it's bodybuilding or if she likes to do art or something, you know, like, whatever it is that passion is, I just want her to be inspired to just never quit and give up, no matter what happens, no matter if you get knocked down, the challenges that come in front of you. Just always keep going and keep pushing yourself, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. You know, it's everybody wants to achieve something that's sometimes is next to impossible. Sometimes in life, you
Oh,
know,
absolutely.
life is tough. You know, like to quote Rocky Balboa, "Beat you down."
Oh,
You
it
know,
does. It does.
but then, like I said, like Rocky said, you just got to take a hit to keep moving forward.
Oh,
And
yeah.
being, like I said, I grew up with a single mom. My mother and my father, even though technically they was my parents were still married. You know, even though my dad was living in New Jersey, we're still down here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But she had to raise 6 kids. You had to raise one, and that is a lot, especially a girl. You know,
Yeah.
and you are doing something that most people in society don't feel is very feminine,
Yes.
because
It is true.
the idea women are to be soft, be feminine, be caretakers, you know,
Oh,
yada
yeah.
yada. But then you're in a sport where you are muscular, you're huge, you're ripped, you get in shape, you know, you're transforming your body a certain
Yes.
way that's not the typical
No.
idea of what is a woman. We have some people come in. Shout out to my man, this man Chad. Shout out to Chad Davis. You know, he's a guest. He's down here. Says, "Hey George, hey brother George, it's your brother, your good brother Chad here. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to Miss Russell. Like I promised her, I sent you a message on IG, Miss Russell. I hope you speak to you soon." Yeah,
Oh,
Chad.
that's so
Chad.
nice. Yes, I
Also,
do.
Chad says, I can't stay long. I'm at work, but I didn't want to miss the podcast. Brother
Oh,
George,
that's so
keep
sweet.
doing your thing. And you too, Miss Russell, continue striving for the best. Hope to talk to you on IG soon. You know.
Yes, we will, for
Also,
sure.
we have here another comment, and I think you know this person. You know, it says this is JK Fit.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
Nah, you are wrong, brother. She go, oh, wait, brother here. This is my, this is
Oh, that's
my,
awesome.
this is my channel. This is my shit. I built this brick by brick. Don't you come and tell me what I need to call. I call her by her name, her God-given name. Now you call her She-Hulk, you call her She-Hulk when you see her. I call her Alaina Russell. Okay, this is my shit. I built this brick
That's
by
so
brick.
cute. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I got here also
It's
one more.
fun.
Yeah, I got here from my man KL the Wanderer says, "Hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, hi, what's going on?" So, what was that like? You know, when you first, when was like you said you started back in 2022? We first started 20.
2020. Well, I mean, really 2019, because you know, you prep for a long time, especially your first time. I mean, you don't know anything about it, and so I prepped for a long time. Well, then guess what? 2020. What was 2020? That was COVID. COVID year. Yeah, I picked a great time to start. So I had originally planned on competing in the beginning of 2020. Really, honestly, when COVID just went to crap, and the first show that I had prepped for 3 weeks before it was gonna go, it canceled. It canceled out. And so, I mean, that was distraughting. If anyone has actually prepped for a show 3 weeks out, you're mad. It's not cool. And then, we'd go to okay, we're going to go for this show. Well, then guess what? That one would get canceled. And then it was 5 shows later. So it wasn't all the way until mid November in 2020 that we finally got to compete. So I had been in a, like, holding my, stance for all that year. I mean, it was grueling, but it was worth it. And the gyms got shut down and everything. So I mean, oh my God, it was crazy. I was going to my gym where my coaches were at the time, and we were sneaking in because they had a gym where they lived actually. And we were sneaking into their house and going down into the gym because there were cops around. They knew it was a gym, and they were waiting and watching for people to go into the gym and stuff. And they were finding gyms that were letting people in and stuff. So it was crazy. But you know what? Like, man, I was just really mad at COVID. And I was like, you're not going to beat me. I'm not going to get freaking knocked down from this. Like, I'm going to do this. And so then, of course, in November, that show was flooded because all the competitors were losing their shows. And so it ended up being this really massive big show, which was kind of cool in a sense. And I competed in women's physique that year. And it was definitely a shot into, like, this isn't going to be easy, and you're going to know right off the bat how not easy it is. But I feel like if I could make it, first out the gate with that happening, then you're pretty going to be well off. It's going to be fine. So yeah, that's when I started, was 2020, basically COVID year, and that was a crazy hell of a year. But I'll never
Yeah,
forget it.
yeah, I can say because that's the year my mother died. She had gotten the virus. Yeah,
Wow.
she was sick for a long time. I was taking care of her the last 5 or 6 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then one day she got up. She wasn't feeling well, so she went to the hospital. And then next thing you know, she was there for about almost 2 weeks, and then next thing you know, she got it, and then boom, it was. And like she was already, like, my mother was 80 years old at the time, and she
Yeah.
already was dealing with all the multiple issues, and it didn't take long.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was just
Oh God.
it was one of those hard times for a lot of people, losing
It
friends and
was.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We
know a
all
lot of.
either you knew someone, or you knew someone who had someone who either was very, very sick or passed away. And yeah, so I mean, it was like a depressing year in so many ways, just
Yeah,
for everyone. And honestly, that was another. I mean, bodybuilding so many times has gotten me through the most gruesome of circumstances and hardships. And I just could only imagine, like, that if I didn't have that, it's like it's always been the one stable thing, or the one thing that I know is always, like, is there. It's always there. It's gonna be there. It's my consistency, and nothing can take it from me. And it makes it very special to you, that no matter freaking worldwide disease or divorce or anything going on, it's not going to let you down. It's going to be there for you every single day, and let you get out all your feelings and all your emotions. And I really attribute it to my sanity at many points in time, for sure. Yeah, there's nothing like it. So yeah, and like you said, being kind of I say controversial, just a different body type, or a different type of woman, in a sense, that you don't look like the norm, for sure. And you definitely have to take that, like, into account as to how you're going to be looked at and portrayed as and perceived at. And I mean, personally, I don't give a shit. Like, I look good how I feel, and this is who I identify as inside and out. And so, I mean, you can't care, really, as long as you feel good and you look how you want to. I mean, that's really all that matters. But It definitely did start up some, you get stared at. So I think sometimes you get looked at like a circus freak or something. Like you belong with the circus, and you get all different types. You get the ones that are absolutely inspired by you and they think that you're amazing and all that. Then you get the ones that act like some men who they are kind of like grossed out or repulsed, or they are insecure, and they give you dirty looks, and you get, kind of that, and you just take it with stride. Like, you don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. Everyone doesn't have to like you. You are kind of an alternative lifestyle, I guess you would say. You go against the grain quite a bit, and a lot of people that aren't in that lifestyle, they don't sometimes they don't quite understand or have a connection with it as to why you are, we'll say, obsessed. I say it's passion, but a lot of people say you're obsessed, and maybe, I don't care though. If you're going to be extraordinary at something, you better be obsessed with it. Like, that is really the only way you're going to achieve the greatness that you are hoping for. I don't want to do this to lose. I don't want to do it to be mediocre. Everything I do is, it's all out or it's none, So, yeah, you do kind of get a different, I guess, perceived and looked at in a different way, but ultimately you just got to be true to yourself. And if you love how you are inside, and that's just who you are. I am who I am, and I'm not going to change. I'm not going to be nothing else for anyone else. My sanctuary is the gym, and going and just getting, pushing towards my goals and my dreams. And the great thing is, no one can take your dreams from you. No one can take your goals. People and things and situations can take a lot of things from you, but they can't take that. Nothing can take that. And it's the one thing that I have any control over. Sometimes it seems like. So yeah, it gets very special and meaningful for sure.
Hmm. We have a comment from my man KLA. Shouts to him. He says, um, he posted this. You know, my computer's getting a little sluggy. But it says, yeah, the COVID era were hard times, chaotic. Yeah, brother, it was. Also, this is from Chad. He says this. He says, "So sorry, brother George, Miss Russell. I snuck into the bathroom for a minute. I just wanted to know, did you see my comments?" Yes, brother, I see your comments. So you snuck in the bathroom, whatever. So also, this is from my man Kia. He says, "So you are an amateur bodybuilder. How did you train for your first show?" So what was that like? Because you missed it because she talked about how she was
Yeah.
dealing with COVID. So we're not gonna go over that. You want to watch it? Watch the video over again. So there's a lot of hey, don't be coming in here late, and asking questions. You should come at the top of the hour, brother, top of the hour. So I'm gonna chastise you.
We were secret ninja trainers. We had to, secretly bust in the gym, and you had to want it. You had to really want it, because all the regular I worked for a corporation gym, Crunch. I don't know if you've heard of Crunch, but
Yeah, her crunch.
that's where I worked as a trainer for, and so that was all shut down. So the only way you were getting into a gym is if you knew someone or you had a connection into it. And yeah, basically we were like sneaking into the gym to try and to prep and stuff. Like, if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way. You will find a way. Some people were doing it at home. I needed to get out of the house. It was like one
I know
thing.
there was a lot of people that were buying. They were like the amount of I think they had a lot of more people buying home gyms and stuff like that. It was some point that
Blew
even some
up.
companies ran out because they couldn't keep up with the demand. I mean, especially if you have countries like in Canada. I know some competitors that I've
Yeah.
interviewed that live in Canada. Here in the U.S. I mean, it was a tough time. But that's the thing is, if you want something bad enough, you'll make a way. And I
Yeah.
know a friend of mine. He's a coach, and sometimes he had people training because his coach, his place was private property. Police
Yeah.
would come in and say, "Hey, it's private property, can't be on here." Yeah, yeah. He might have 4 or 5 people, but
Yep.
he wanted to work with his people, and he said he took the time because hey, there's always a
Yeah.
way to get out of it.
There's always a way, because yeah, it's true. If that's right, that was one of the compliances. If depending on how much space you had, depending on how many people you could have in there, so you couldn't have a bunch of people in one instance and stuff. So yeah, it was absolutely just crazy. But you know how it is. It's like you don't really see until you're looking back on it, and you're like, oh my god, can't believe we did that. That was absolutely crazy. But gosh, it was definitely a year to remember, and I'm just really I'm gonna always be very proud of myself that you know, just because every show would freaking cancel out and go down. I mean, I broke down and cried a few times for sure, because you know, you're in absolute misery and you're pushing your body to the absolute limit to just have it get shut down. You're like, okay, well, we're just, and you're rolling, like, you know, you just roll into the next and you keep training, keep going, really keep eating. Because that's the other hard part with COVID. It's not like you would go out and have all these distractions and have all these things. Like, you were just sitting at home. What do most people want to do when they're just stuck at home sitting around? You know, you want to eat and like watch TV and all that. And so, again, going against the grain, like everyone else is gaining weight, getting all this, like you're trying to shred out. Whew. It
I can feel I can feel that because I think right when my mother passed away, I was almost 500 pounds. So this was like maybe before we really get into the. I think more like it was my mother passed around June, and
oh
I was
man.
already getting a lot of weight then. But then you know because what I was doing was one point I just started working out in the house.
Yeah.
And you know, and that helped out. I mean, and
Oh
then
yeah.
after a while, I know I was talking to because I have issues with my knees and stuff. I was talking to orthopedic, so you need to work out more. I said, well, I went to a gym, and it's not a bodybuilding gym; it's Planet Fitness. Now, everybody, I
Yeah.
know y'all.
But I love it and it's great. I'm always
Yeah,
a huge support. No matter what you're doing it. And it takes a lot of guts and courage to just do it. I don't care where it's at. At home even. It takes, you know, you have to make that decision that I'm gonna freaking do this. Even if it's at home. Like I did millions of things at home and workouts and stuff. So I think I support it all. It's great. So
hmm
yeah. And so, what kind of issues were you having with your knees? Just
well, because a bit of weight, plus also I'm genetically predisposed to arthritis.
oh,
Right now, it's practically bone on bone. You know,
ugh,
my orthopedic is telling me I might need surgery. It's one thing I
yeah.
had to lose some weight, and I did drop down because I was about 500, about like a little over
Oh my god.
four. I was doing some workouts, but then after a while, it just got to the point where it just treadmills and I ride the bike. You know, the bike's not a problem, but
Hey, I ride the bike too. I am all about the bike. And you know why I ride the bike? It's because of my knees. It's
yeah,
because of my knees. I
yeah.
have, I feel you. I totally hear. I don't have bone on bone issues, but I've had an ACL replacement in one knee, and I have currently even still a torn patellar tendon in the other knee. So I mean, doing incline treadmills and things like that. Honestly, what feels the best on my knee is the bike, and unfortunately, the stairmaster.
I'm not touching that
You get
stairmaster.
the bike
Hell
and the
no.
stairmaster, and you're like, great, this is awesome.
I'll do treadmill. I'm not touching that damn. I'm not going near the elliptical. I'm not going near that one
Yeah,
either. I mean, it's like that. But then I have issues with my shoulders because I've been working for most of my life. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just beat down. I mean, but it's you got to do. Like I said, you have to love it and be passionate when you get into the sport,
Oh, yeah.
and also be consistent. That's one thing people don't understand about bodybuilding. When everybody talk about
Mhm.
bodybuilders, the mind they think about is like they're always on steroids. They're always taking this. They always, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's only a small factor of being a
Oh,
bodybuilder.
it's
Everything is about you know following your diet, working
yeah.
out, being consistent, like you said earlier. Consistency
Hmm.
is the key part of it. Uh, Also, discipline. You know, motivation is good because I know I have one time we had a back-to-back conversation about motivation versus discipline, but that motivation does help you push yourself to keep going. But it's the discipline.
It's hardly there. It's hardly there. Honestly, the motivation, you're hardly. Some days, I would say like a couple days a week, I am like on fire motivated. Most of it, just like any other person, I don't want to wake up and get on my bike and first thing, like, you know, spin for 45 minutes or whatever. Like, sometimes, but you know, it's not the norm. But you know what? It's just what I do. It's my ritual. It's my habit and discipline. That it's just doing what you're supposed to do, even if you don't want to do it. And that's big. That's a strong mentality for sure to get over because there's always going to be things. You live in this world where your friends and your kid, my kid, open up the pantry. There's her cereal. There's her little junk food. There's her things, and you're just like, that sounds really good. Okay, let's go have my chicken and rice now. I'm so excited. You know, like The world is full, it's temptation everywhere, and so yeah, you have to freaking want it bad. But it's doable. You can do it. And you know what? You become so proud, and you become so much more confident in what you're capable of doing. You know what I mean? You're like, no, I am capable of this. I am strong enough to deal with
Yeah,
this. Because
yeah.
I mean, you can try and there's certain times where I've put her food in a different pantry than my pantry, so I don't have to see it every single time I open the dang pantry. That was helpful. So, I mean, you have to help yourself, like, maneuver around everything, You can't expect your friends or your family or anything to eat how you do. Trust me, they don't want to. I definitely am not worried about them taking my food. Like,
No,
it's fine. But I
yeah,
mean, you also learn how to make your prep food good for yourself. I mean, your palate will change, and that's honestly usually what I crave. Like, I start to crave. I want my meal. I want my meal. I don't necessarily crave all the other stuff all the time. It's more like when you see it and smell it. That's when you crave it. That's when you want it. But you're just so headstrong and focused on, like, and plus I'm a little bit of a savage, and it's like, to me, my food and my meals usually, it's for a purpose. I'm not eating for my gratification or pleasure. That's not what I'm eating for. It is because it's my fuel. It's how I'm going to work out good. It's how I'm going to build my muscles. And like you said, consistency. That it's To me, I try to tell, like, my clients and other people that try to do is, like, it's an equation. Think of it as like a mathematical equation. Your food is equal to something. Your lifting and your training, your water intake, your salt intake, your supplements, like, all of these things create, like, an equation. And if you do the equation correctly and you're consistent and you do it, it will equal out to your result that you're trying to get. If you finagle with the equation and you fuck this part up and you mess this up and you're not quite doing this right, like, it's not going to equate out to what the end is supposed to be. So you got to be on it. You have to have all the elements, like you said, together, because there is so many of them that you don't really see. Like, you think, oh, either they eat certain ways and they lift heavy weights and they take steroids. That's it.
yeah.
Mm,
That's more to that, but people don't understand it. It's they
I wish
see.
it was just that simple.
Yeah, it was nothing ever simple. We got a comment from a man KL. He says, it's not that serious, bro. Stop. I'm just asking you come late on interview. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's serious because you should be here. You know when the time is set. Also, he said this. He says, I did a lot of walking exercises in the park during the pandemic. You mean the pandemic? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. What are you spelling, brother? And also, he says this. He says, "What's motivate you to do the sport of bodybuilding and competition?"
So what motivates me? Honestly, I, I just, the sport itself. I love the sport itself. I feel like I found something that suits me so much. Like, I didn't know a lot of this. I love working out. I love lifting. Okay, that's great. There's so many other elements to this sport. Posing. In my category that I get to do a posing routine. And to me, oh man, I've really fallen in love with that. Like, the art of it. That's where you get to show the art. And to me, like, a physique is, it's an artwork, And when I coach and I train someone else, it's like my vision, and I'm like creating a vision. That's my art piece, and myself, my own canvas, my own body. I have a vision, and I want to achieve this certain envisionment that I have, and it is my body of work. It is my greatest body of work that I will ever do. And it literally takes everything that I have to do it. But what motivates me is I created this goal. I committed to this goal. Like, I want to, I'm going to get my IFBB pro card. I want to go on a pro stage. I want to go on an Olympia stage. I mean, of course, everyone wants to, like, win an Olympia contest. But honestly, if I put a toe on that stage, like, I'm going to die happy. It's going to be great. But, like, I set this goal, and when I set a goal and when I commit to something and I am dedicated, like I said, it's all in or it's nothing. I can't halfway do it. So I made a commitment to myself and dedicated myself to this goal. I'm getting my IFBB Pro card. I'm gonna, compete at least in one IFBB Pro contest, and I'm not freaking dying until it happens. Like, And and you've made this, when you make a goal and you, one of the things that you do is you talk about it, you say it out loud, you project it out. Well, like I said, I have a daughter, and I'm not going to let her see me not achieve my goal, not achieve what I'm trying to do, and compel her high water. Like, I'm going to try until the very end, till I can't try no more. I mean, we all have their season in life. You could get into a car accident, break your legs, and guess what? Bodybuilding's probably over for you as far as that goes. But hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, unless something catastrophic like that happens, we're going. Like, I'm not going to stop. I can't. Like, there's just no, it's just kind of how I am, who I am. I'm a stubborn freaking ass, like, a lot of times in a lot of ways. And I feel like you have to kind of be like a lot of people who are serious bodybuilders. You get to know them. They're stubborn as hell. Like, there's no kind of talking them out of things or talking them into things. Like, they're in their thing. And when they commit to something and dedicate, it's all in. And usually, we're very like meticulous. I'm very meticulous about my things. And, because like I said, there's so many elements. You have to weigh your food out. You have to, you're weighing out ounces and grams, and you have to be very precise about things and plan things out ahead of time, meal prepping alone, not even for a bodybuilder, but just for anybody. I mean, that I have to, I teach a lot of my clients, lifestyle clients, about meal prepping, and it does take a lot right there. I mean, you have to just plan ahead and set aside and figure out what you like, figure out what's going to work for you. I mean, there's so much that goes into it and stuff. So you have to, just be there's no force that's going to stop you. And that has to be your driving factor. And your motivation comes from, your kids, or when you're going to get little wins, but you know what? You're going to lose more than you're going to win. So you better grow some tough skin, because the majority of the time you're not going to go on stage and win the show. So and basically you're doing a sport where people are literally judging you, literally judging your body. So
that's the tough
better
part.
have some tough ass skin and be able to take some, constructive criticism and not let that destroy you. If they don't like what you brought to that stage or the package that you brought, it's a human element. This isn't like basketball or football. You either made the touchdown or you didn't, or you made the basket or you didn't. Like, this is human element that is judging you, so different people have different opinions, have different likes, dislikes, what they, so you are just really, you got to be kind of strategic in your own set too. You learn who these judges are and what they like, what they look for, what kind of look they look for. And maybe if you know that so-and-so's in that judging this show and they like more of this type of body, which isn't really what you look like, well, guess what? Maybe you should pick a different show with different judges and stuff. Like, you have to really work your own system and be knowledgeable about the sport and get involved with knowing people and integrating yourself into it and stuff. That there's always, like any sport out there, I don't care what it is, there's always a political side to things. And, putting yourself and getting to know people within the sport and everything else, that's really, you got to be a part of that community, and you have to put yourself out there like that. And that's hard for me. I'm kind of more of a shy person. I would prefer not to have to socialize per se.
We say you're a shy person, but you got to understand this. That's the thing is about this. When you say you're shy, you have to be on a stage in front of a lot of people, practically naked.
Yeah.
And then you say you shy. And that's the thing is,
it's crazy, right? I am. And you know what it is? And I tell people this too. I'm not necessarily don't have stage fright, because I've worked my ass off to get to this point. And I've worked with this knowledge of, like, you're going to go show it off. You're going to go show off. And it is a show. You're almost like what do you say? Like a performer in a sense, and honestly, when you're on that stage, yeah, there's a shit ton of people out in the audience and stuff, but like, you're looking at the judges right there. And the whole sport of it is, you don't go on stage and lift weights. You go on stage and you pose and you do your routine, and that's the sport right there. And so the mindset of, like, I'm doing all this to go show this off to these judges, and I'm gonna do my freaking darndest to look poised and professional and beautiful and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I have a different persona when I get on stage. I have like a different personality, and I have to. And I tell people that are more shy and have, I don't necessarily have stage fright, but I am more shy. So it kind of makes you want to sink in. But no, you name her, like create this whole other person. And when it's showtime, like I'm more like getting pumped up, like any sporting event. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to go. I want to go. I want to get on there. And like I get excited and like ready to go up there. I'm not necessarily one of those ones. I mean, that you have their coaches are kicking them to get them on the stage and stuff. Like I'm ready to go at that point. I have worked all this hard, and this is like when you get to actually play your sport, and you get like 3 minutes on that stage to play your sport. So you better make it count. And yeah, really kind of, I turned myself into my stage person who, you know, she is not shy. She likes, you know, loves the attention, loves the spotlight, loves to be on there, and just soaks it all up and all that. And I just kind of embody into that. But like my real life persona is like, I just want, I don't want to fucking talk to people. I want to just kind of do my own thing. I don't want to be in, you know, a lot of social, I get kind of, you know, a lot of people around. It drains me a lot socially and stuff mentally, but, you know, it still is, there's quite a few of them that are like that and stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have this crazy outgoing, you want to be the center of attention, like on stage all the time. Like, nope, there's a time and a place for that. And we build up to that and stuff, but I do love it. And I worked really hard to have a very good poised, calm stage presence and stuff. And you learn to really love it and stuff. That's when you get to actually play your sport. The gym and working out and all this other stuff, that's you preparing, like going to practice, I guess you would say. But when it's time to go on that stage, that's game time. That's game time. You don't get a lot of game time play, so you make it count good.
Yeah, I can stand that, you know, because I played football when I was younger, and you know, you're out there, you're in front of a crowd, you know, that's different from bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And you know, to just be worried about the judges, that's the big thing about it. It's you got to come with a great presentation, a great look, something that can get you over the top. You know, when the work you put into the time you put into it, and then it just all it takes is like a pin stroke where you
Yeah.
place first or second. Folks, what we do is this. Well, we got Alaina here. We're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to
Okay.
follow her links in the description of this live stream. Want to check her out? You want to support her? Reach out to her. You know, enjoy her interest. But guys, I got a rule. I tell this is no official, Alaina. I tell this verbatim. Guys, know the pics.
Oh my
Stop
God.
it. Get some help. Don't do it. You've been a victim of it, haven't you? Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all have, but wait, I don't know. Obviously, it works sometimes. Otherwise, I don't know why they wouldn't do it, because apparently sometimes it works. Well, you know.
Yes. Well, we get on that. So we're gonna jump in here into her social media here. You want to follow her links in the description here. And here her with her coach Chelsea right here. And how long you and Chelsea known each other?
Oh gosh, we've known each other since like 2019, 2020. It was so funny because she was coming into the gym that I worked at and stuff, and I saw her and I was like, oh damn, I bet you I'm competing against her. And I remember like we'd look at each other in passing all the time and everything else. And then just one day we were in one of the rooms, and the show was coming up. It was like in a couple weeks and stuff, the Idaho Cup. And finally we just kind of like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? Are you competing? And just connected, and it went from there. And actually she wasn't competing against me. She was a figure competitor at that time, and I was a physique competitor. But it's just hilarious, like that competitiveness inside of you, and you see another, you know, one, you're like, oh man, she looks amazing. Like I bet you she's competing against me. Crap. And she didn't even know, you know, it's like you see that and it pushes you and it makes you work harder, because you're like, I bet you she's in a competition. And you're like, I'm going to push harder. I'm going to get there and stuff. And it was funny though. She wasn't competing against me, but ever since then, you know, we've come a long ways, and we've had certain things happen in our lives together, kind of around at the same time, where we were able to bond and become closer and closer and closer. And yeah, now she's definitely like, my best friend and stuff. I don't know what I would do right now without her, honestly.
Right, right here. That's your daughter, right? How old is she?
Yep, she is 12. She's
Oh,
12. Yeah.
oh, she's a cute little girl. I know she's
She,
proud of she's proud of her mama, And that thing is, we learn from, especially from our parents. We
hmm
learn how to be better people, how to grow.
Yeah.
And being, like I said again, single mom and raising a young girl and doing this sport. And I know, does she ever go to your shows? And what's that
Yeah.
like?
Sometimes she's gone to a couple of them. Honestly, sometimes it's kind of hard for her because if we travel or something like that, if no one's with me, she does. So a lot of the times, honestly, she live streams shows, like either at the hotel room that we're at or at home, so she sees it live and everything. Um, because it's kind of hard. Kids going to the show, honestly, the attention's not on them. It's not about them. They're bored. They have nothing else to do. They've been seeing you prep this entire time and stuff. So she's gone to a couple, but for the most part, she likes to stay at the hotel, be comfortable, and she live streams it on her tablet and stuff and watches it. And she's pretty cute because she likes to watch the bikini girls and the fit wellness and all that. And she'll be like, "Mom, look at this girl. She got this," and she starts judging them too and everything. And she gets inspired and stuff. So she has a lot of fun with it and knows that it gets all crazy. And she really is like, she's my little fan and my little best friend. And she helps me with prepping food, even helping me cook food. Just she'll give me ice packs when my body hurts, like asks me how I'm feeling. She really is like my biggest little fan, and it's very sweet. She is such a sweet. I am so lucky. I know every parent says this, right? They're so lucky, but like I am so lucky. She's just the sweetest, nicest, most caring person and individual that I know, and she just shows her love for me so much, and it's very sweet. And so, I mean, how could you not just fight as hard as you can for that? It's very motivating to see her so proud.
Well, that's good because you know what? It's tough for a lot of people who get into sport because, especially family members and friends, don't understand
Yeah.
what's it about, why you're doing it.
It
It's
envelops
just
every part of your life.
yeah. And I know like, you say you were previously married before. Were It's the time when you still married when you started competing, or were this before the your divorce?
um, I started competing before my divorce. Yeah. It probably did have some effects into it because he wasn't, honestly, he wasn't really as into it, obviously into the gym in general as I was. But then when I got more deep into it and more deep into it, ultimately it ended up like we just really had nothing in common. He didn't do what I did, and I'm not gonna say it was the only thing for sure. It was not the only thing, but it definitely, you know, when your partner doesn't, it's not that he was against it. He let me do what I needed to do, but it just there was no connect anymore. I was just doing it by myself, and he was doing his thing by himself, and so it just really, and it can go like that. I mean, I've seen marriages go down because of prep, because of bodybuilding, because it takes so much dedication, and it takes it really, every asset of your life. Like some people, the thought of like having different dinners together, and they're all having this dinner, and she's having this, and it kind of affects certain things. And where you can go out, you can't go out to like restaurants all the time anymore. I tell people like I'm so restaurant illiterate. I don't even know like any places and stuff. I don't go to restaurants. So if that's something that you and your husband or boyfriend like really love to do, go out and find cool places to eat, like it's just not really conducive for that. And so there's the sacrifices are big. And I will never ever tell anyone who's talking to me about competing or wanting to compete and try and sugarcoat that, because that will come back tenfold. The sacrifices are big. you know you have to go to the gym 2 times a day, sometimes more, and just your entire life and everything revolves around this. And either your family and your loved ones and the people close to you, they're going to support you and have your back, and they're going to go through the shit with you and the grind with you. Um, or they could go against it, and it's just not going to be it's not going to be a fun time. I've seen a lot where you get done with a show, and your husband or the wife is like, all right, you're taking a year off of this, because it can be very hard and stressful on families, and let alone, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to do. It's kind of an expensive hobby, but honestly, everyone, I feel like, spends money on their hobbies and whatever it is they like to do. I'm like, you know how expensive hunting is? Or you know how expensive golfing is? Like, so you're gonna put your money where you really want it and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of elements to it, between the sacrifices and the sacrifices of cost and time and things like that. It can be hard on families, but if there's understanding and there's planning, and how much this means to someone, I mean, it's gonna work or it's not. So
Yeah. Well, I got some comments here. This is from my man KL. He says, "Who do you like in the sport of bodybuilding? Do you also pay attention to the other divisions?" Now, you said you were in. You started out in
women's
physique,
physique. Mm-hmm.
and you switched over to bodybuilding. What made you make that decision to
The
switch?
judges' feedback. Yeah, they both times that I had competed in women's physique, or even the very first time, 2020. And I placed decent. There was like 13 competitors that were in that division, and that's kind of a big class, because, like I said, it got flooded from everyone that the shows got canceled, and I placed fifth out of 13. So top five is always what you're shooting for, and like is good and stuff. But big factor was, they said that you should go up to bodybuilding. You're like too big already for women's physique. That's just my body. That's my genetics and my body structure. And I do follow, obviously, some of the top women in bodybuilding, but also, the thing is, when you really envelop and you look at these other, even pros, I get inspired by these pros, and I get, you see the level that they're at, and you're like, okay, that's what I'm trying to obtain to. But you don't want to get obsessive with, like, comparing yourself, and that is a huge thing that bodybuilders tend to do, that can be really rough on your mentality, is comparing yourself all the time. So that I know some bodybuilders, they don't follow even pros and other bodybuilders and stuff, because they just want to keep it, like, they want to focus on themselves. They don't want, then maybe they have a hard time with comparing themselves. They know that that's what they do, is compare themselves, and it can really destroy your confidence and strength. But I don't know if anyone knows, they might follow her. She's called The Real Lois Lane. Now, she was
Oh, that's Rachel
yes, Rachel
Daniels. Yeah, I
McAdams.
follow.
Hmm. I love her, because, I mean, she's raw. She's so real and raw, and she doesn't give a shit, like, what she says and how she says it and how you take it. But then also, get inspired by her posing and her posing routines. She's very artistic. She's got a dancer kind of background. I do not have a dancer background. So I definitely have had to work really hard on being flowy and have poise and being delicate. Like, please, I'm a bull in a china shop. Like, it's very hard. And I'm not like this girly girl, really, like, as far, so it is very hard. It was hard. But it's like, once I found my niche with it, and you find your style, and you can take inspirations from these, from other people that give you inspiration, and how they move and how they flow and how they transition, and then put it to your own self and your own personality and your own persona, and make it your own, and figure out your style and your way. And that's been really a beautiful thing for me in the sport too, and stuff, and learning how to do that. And everyone has, especially the pros and stuff, you see people pose and stuff, and they all kind of have their different way that they do it. And it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just their way. It's their style. And I love that you can express yourself kind of in that way. Again, I mean, you have judges that have their own opinion too, so to kind of keep that into account also. But she's been one that I've watched for a long time, and there's a few others. You know, the current Olympia for bodybuilding and stuff. Andrea Shaw, like she,
Oh, you just mentioned somebody is I'm a fan of.
yes, oh,
She
love,
really, she is the gold standard, I say, of women's bodybuilding. I'm a fan of Andrea. I've
yeah.
done content on Andrea. I just love
I
her.
think she's so beautiful.
She's
Like,
so
you know,
beautiful.
she's the Miss Olympia, and yet she's beautiful. She's got a beautiful face. Her shape is beautiful. Like she's just, you know, still gorgeous and still puts that femininity with all of that. And to me, that's like, I don't want to lose that part of myself. Like I am a girl and a woman, and I like that about myself.
Let me show you something real quick. A
Hmm.
while back, my friend, her name is Eunice Kitchen. She runs her own company, Bad Rap. We
Hmm.
became friends for a good while, you know, and she was at the last year's Olympia. She got me this issue of muscle development. And while she was there, you know, she's walking around. She saw Andrea, and Andrea did this for me.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
I
Oh,
mean, I love this because
that's amazing.
people can tell me, they say, George, you put this, I can't, I love it and hug it. I mean, George, I keep it at
Oh,
night. I can get a little jealous because, you know, I can't get possessed because I got a friend of mine. He does, right now, he's over the weekend. His wife is competing tomorrow at the Anaheim show, the Grand Prix,
uh, oh,
show.
my.
And his name is Big Keith Williams. He's IFB Pro. And Keith sent his picture a while back. And and I told him, keep his hands off my girl. I don't know why. You know how I obsessed over, it, but he's my brother. I
She's
love
like
him.
yeah, she's your body, like the dream bodybuilding wife. The dream
And,
bodybuilding wife,
yes,
right?
and he has a wife. He got 4 or 5 kids, but he has a hand on my girl. I'm sorry, Alaina.
Oh,
I'm
that's so
sorry,
funny.
I'm sorry,
But
I'm
she's so
sorry.
nice too. That's the other
Yes,
thing
I
that
heard
makes you
that.
fall,
Yeah.
like, you know, when they're so nice and they are real, you know, I love that and stuff. Like you can tell like that's who they are as a person. And she is just, she loves her fans. She loves, you know, you can tell like it's her soul, it's her passion. And she's just got this like good, happy, positive spirit about it. You know, she's not trying to be someone that she's not or something. And so then that's again, that's what I love about Rachel McAdams. Like she's just so her true self. You love her how she is because she is. I mean, there's a little controversy, certain things with her, but like either you love her or you don't, and she doesn't give a shit either way.
Yeah,
And that kind of inspired, that's motivating to me because so often we get so enveloped in like, we want people to like us. We want people to like us. We want all this. And it's like, not everyone's going to like you. You might as
well,
well just be your truest self.
this is where I take quote from my favorite comedian, Bernie Mac. Says, you know, boy, if people don't like you for being yourself, fuck them.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You got to live your life where you
Yeah.
want to live it. I mean, no one, you don't have to, I don't expect anybody, you don't have to love me. You don't
Yeah.
have to even respect me. But you got to
No.
understand, I'm here. I exist. We
Yeah.
have a comment from a man, KL. He says, uh, you have beautiful legs. Is that your favorite workout routine, leg day? So what's it like? What's your routine, especially as you're training? What's that workout you love the most and a workout you love the least?
Okay. So everyone obviously thinks that I must train legs like a bunch. And honestly, I actually don't really train legs that often. Legs are my genetic gift, really. That is just through and through what it is. They've always been like that, always been really muscular. I mean, I train, I have a leg day in the week. I have one leg day in the week. And I do like, I like training legs, but I have knee issues and stuff too, major knee issues. And it really humbled me a lot because when I was first starting out, yeah, I ego lifted like crazy all the time, and it was all about how much I could lift, how much I could, you know, leg press, how much I could squat, all that stuff. And it really destroyed my back. I've got lower back issues, and so there's just no way that is going to be sustainable to keep doing that. You will just break yourself down. So I had to really learn how to train in a much more sustainable way where I could keep doing this. And so obviously being a trainer, and it is your passion to figure this out, because a lot of people have knee problems. They can't just, you know, press 500 freaking pounds all the time. It's gonna break them. So learning a training technique and style where I'm not, just overloading weight all the time. Lighter weight, doing reps with lots of holds, and going very slow eccentric. Like it's hard because you want to just put on, what you can do, but you have to train smart. Um, and as far as legs, like I like training legs, but I would say I don't necessarily love it because I have to be so conscious about what I'm doing. It's I have to be very sensitive and listen to my body and listen to my knees, and so it's kind of more of like a it's not, I wouldn't say it as fun, but like I just have to be very in tune to my body and train a very specific way so that I don't hurt myself. My favorite, honestly, I have been really into training shoulders and lats a lot the last couple of years. That was when I did my first national show in 2022. That was really the feedback that I got was, you need to build your lats and your shoulders. And so I just really enveloped myself into those workouts and doing back and shoulders. And right now, honestly, shoulders, I just do shoulders almost every day if I could. I love training shoulders and I love training arms. So those are kind of my favorites right now as far as, workout days go and stuff. I do like legs. It's fun. All that. I like cardio. It's really weird. Like a lot, like don't like cardio, but I do like cardio. That is a huge thing for me to kind of decompress a lot. And you sweat and you're breathing heavy, and a lot of people don't like it. I like it. So I love training, lifting weights. I like doing cardio. It kind of works for me. Because after you get done lifting heavy weights for months on end and you're cutting, and guess what? Now you're doing cardio like most of the time. You're like, cool, I get like the best of both worlds and stuff. And you kind of get to transition over. I love going to like spin class. I love doing, all those things. Like I said, when you're an athlete and you basically did cardio, I played lacrosse, I played basketball, I did track and field. So, that was a huge thing for me, and doing cardio and exerting yourself like that is another one of those things that just makes you feel really alive. Like it makes your body work, and you feel what you can do, and that type of strength, because that's a different strength than just lifting weight strength. It's just a whole different element to doing those kinds of things. Like I just don't want to run. Don't make me run. I'll cry.
I tell you, like I said, with my two bad knees, I run like
Right? Like
I'm wobbling. I'm not trying to run. If you chase after me,
no.
you're gonna catch me. But
Homegirl
yeah,
does not run. If you see me running, you need to run too, because there's something really bad coming.
yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, and that's the tough part about this. This is a lot of work to get in sport, and also I talk about quite often the expense of being, especially for being a woman in bodybuilding,
Mhm.
because compared to the men, and I say this quite often, all you got to do is do banana hammocks and board shorts for them, and tanning. But with you ladies, you have to have presentation, like you said. You have to look very feminine on the stage. You have to look, a
Mhm.
certain way that the judges can judge you, because you want to separate yourself from this division. Like you look how physique and bodybuilding is starting to kind of meld a little bit. We can't tell the difference between either one, because you as amateur, you've done both.
Yeah.
And the cost of traveling, the responsibilities, food,
Yeah.
everything. This is a sport was very, very, and most of the time you compete more in the red than the black. Here we got a comment here from a man. You know, KL, says, sorry to hear that, trials and errors, and that's part of sports and life is trial and errors. Also, he says this. He says, I would love to see you wear a skirt, your legs. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay. Also, he says this. He says, I run with you if you don't like the running, but I won't be too long. And also, he has one more. He says, do you do pull-ups, muscle ups? I know some bodybuilders don't do too much muscle ups, maybe pull-ups. He has a lot of questions asked. He does content on
Yeah.
bodybuilding, but he's more of a fan of the muscle women than the sport
Mhm.
itself. Because as I'm one of my crime is I'm my crime on muscle person. You ladies excite me. You ladies, something about y'all ladies. You excite me. You know, I'm
It does.
Superman.
And
I
there's
like.
reasons why there's weird OnlyFans things that go
Yeah,
on with
yeah. Because I
looks
usually
and stuff.
like things like gasoline and dynamite, but y'all ladies so excite me. Yeah, Alaina, I want to say one thing to you. You
Mhm.
are beautiful. Yeah, because that's the way some of these ladies try to make income. I know you wouldn't do it because you have a child. You wouldn't want
Yeah.
to pick
Oh
up out
yeah.
there.
No, trust me.
But if
Had
I
some hardships lately, and they're like, "Lena, just do that. You'll make a killing." I'm like, "You guys, I'm a mom. Like, I can't do it. I just can't." And it really sucks. Like, I don't know, self like friggin'. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
it's not.
I
I
have
would say,
you have
like I
to
said,
whatever value you have. I have to be okay with that. And honestly, I just am gonna grind my own grind and my own hustle, and it's gonna be all fine.
yeah.
What I do as a trainer is my passion anyway. So
And also, sponsorship does help because are you sponsored
yes,
by anybody?
I do have a couple sponsors, and they help me a lot. Like I had like my last suit that got made because let's be real. As far as the guys go, I have some empathy as far as cost goes because they still have to pay for a lot of things. But like, their board shorts and their stuff that they get, less than $100. And our suits and our bikinis and stuff, the last one that I got, and thank God my sponsor paid for it, was $900. So I mean, it's up there. Like, when else are you gonna spend? People spend $900 on a wedding dress, like not a bikini.
Not depending. No, I'm watching up these Brad Zilla shows. $900. That's very cheap for a wedding dress. I have
Yeah.
seen you. Even some posters will come up to 2,000,
Oh
depending
yeah.
on the design, the maker.
Mhm.
I know some women do. They might do rentals, or
Yeah, they
sometimes
do.
they
There
do.
are some that do
Yeah,
lenses and stuff, and
yeah.
you can do that. And so personally, I like my suits. They're custom made to you, and so I want to keep them, and I want to have because you can wear them over. Trust me, if I was spend $900 on a suit, I'm gonna wear it more than once. It's gonna happen. But so when you rent one, that suit wasn't necessarily made for your body. Hopefully it fits you good enough. But to me, I mean, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna have it. So I have a few now. I got my arsenal of like a few ones because every prep and every show, your body is a little bit different. It's not going to be the exact same. Hopefully it's not, honestly, the exact same as it was the last show. Hopefully there's differences and improvements. So when you have different suits that fit different ways, you kind of like see which one fits the best for that show and kind of go for it. But yeah, you definitely don't buy a new suit every single show. Hopefully, I mean,
Oh,
that must be wonderful if you can afford to do that. But that's not really the reality and norm of it for sure. So yeah, there's huge things. Getting hair and makeup. I mean, I'm not gonna do my own makeup. Like there's some that kind of do their own stuff. I'm not good enough like that to do that. My hair, whatever. I put it in a ponytail and stuff. So I've kind of helped certain costs. You have to kind of help your own costs and your own things. Do what you can, how you can do it. Get sponsors as much as you can, because it all adds up. And guys versus girls, yeah, there's a bit of a cost difference for sure. Guys don't have to spend $175 on their makeup to get their makeup done, um, usually. So yeah, there's definitely some differences, but it is what it is, right? Like being a woman, it's always freaking harder. I don't care what. Everything is always a little bit harder. You always have more things, more elements, more emotions, more feelings, like everything. So um, it's just it's just how it is, really. And you got to do it. It's part of the sport. It's a beauty pageant with muscles. That's really what it is. So it's fun though. I mean, come on. When else do you get glammed up to the nines like that? Yeah, I know I don't. So it is fun. You get to, like I said, you change into this different persona, internally and externally. Like you change, and you get to go show that off and stuff, and be this thing that you've worked very very hard for and stuff, and just chase it, just keep going.
yeah, because it's a sport. It's a passion sport,
Mhm.
and as a person who's been doing content on you ladies and following you ladies, I wish there was more. opportunities as it
Yeah.
was like any other sport. If you look at the major league sports, even when you're an amateur, you still get some benefits here and there. Like these guys who
Yeah.
get out of college and high school, you get some sponsorships. Um, Bodybuilding, because it's such a very not ordinary sport. It's not as popular like it was when I remember when I was coming up. The two people that really stuck out, we talk about bodybuilding, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk and the Terminator. And most people don't recognize the sport because, like one example is like when you look at, it's again the steroid thing, it's always pointing a finger at bodybuilding, but it's in almost every sport. Olympians get busted for it,
Oh,
boxers, baseball players, but it's so easy to pick on bodybuilding.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
then it's not on television like it used to be. Like I remember it used to be on television, but
Yeah.
now you can watch cornhole and poker and sports that,
Exactly.
yeah, that's not real. That's like something you do at your house, like playing spades with your
Yeah,
cousin.
it's like a hobby, but
Yeah,
okay.
it's but because it's not a traditional sport in the mindset of
Yeah.
everybody else. It's easy to overlook it. Like there was one
Yeah.
debate like trying to bring bodybuilding to the Olympics, but then there's always issue steroid. But the natural competitors, the natural
Yeah.
bodybuilding, but the look is kind of different compared to the more
It
enhanced
is.
competitors.
It is. It is a different look, and I'm all support of anyone who wants to do however they want to do the sport, And I love that they are creating more opportunities and more shows for the natural athletes and stuff that go for that and stuff. I think that's great, because you just come on, how do you can't compare a tomato plant with a tomato plant, and one got fertilizer and this and that and extra water and sunlight, and this one just grew like naturally with nothing. Like this one got all these supplements and all those enhancers and everything else, and this one just did it naturally. So they're going to be completely different things, They're completely different entities. So yeah, you can't. That's rough to try and compare them all together. But everyone, in my opinion, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own choice, and I'm pretty like a pro-choice kind of person. You make your choices and decisions on how you want to do what you're going to do, and I don't judge anyone else for how they want to do their thing and stuff. Like it's your body. You have to live in it. I don't. So I make my choices on what I am willing and want to live with, and I support whatever it is you want to do. I mean, as long as you're not affecting me, what I want to do, you do what you want to do. I don't care. As long as you're not my client and you're doing dumb crap that I am telling you not to do. Again, that's cool. I don't care. But yeah, so everyone's got their opinion. Some people are very outspoken with their opinion, and that's fine. But people are outspoken with everything, with politics, their opinions on that, their opinion on everything. So, maybe if you had someone close to you that had complications from doing certain things, it would be more of a sensitive subject to you or something, Like I take all these things into account just because someone is saying maybe some mean stuff. But I mean, again, you have to have some thick skin in the sport. You don't look like a norm, and you do, there's controversial things that are involved. So either you fucking just own it, because there's no point in lying about it. You just own yourself and be yourself, your truest self, and you take whatever it is that people want to say. People will say whatever they want, especially when they're behind a screen and not right in front of you.
That's the thing is, some people like that, they like to tear people down because you're doing something that you love and you're passionate
Yes.
about. And sometimes people don't have that same passion. It's easy to pick on somebody. Like I remember I was saying it's like there's guys that look like me with boobs and like talking about, hey, that chick's trying to be a man. She's all pumped up. She's all manly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But people, this is a nice lady. She's a smart lady. She's an attractive lady. There's gonna be the flip side. The guy says, yeah, I just watched the videos and yeah. But at the same time, that's why I say guys don't send D pics because someone don't like that shit. I
Yeah.
understand. You get
Yeah.
excited about it. I understand, but you get more with a silk glove than with an iron fist. And I know what you're doing with that iron fist. I've been
Mm-hmm.
one of you guys. And it's a lot of work and time you got to put in this. Like you did the Masters, the USA's last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know a lady who I've interviewed who won a pro card, Ursa Mario. You were in the same division. She's competing tomorrow at the Grand Prix, and also another lady who got a pro card also this show.
Mm-hmm.
What was the critique from the judges? Because after that show.
So from the judges, I mean, what they said, and that was it was a very interesting show for me, and I had a lot of great moments with it, and there was a lot of other things that, you know, kind of happened with that show. But with the judges, it was a lot, like it was my first time, my first presence on a national stage, and some of these other girls, they'd been in the national circuit longer, and so were a little bit more known in the circuit by those judges and stuff. Again, it's an opinionated sport, and I was kind of new on the scene, but they, you know, I I thought that I looked, you know, a certain way, and I brought my absolute best package that I could have possibly reached. I don't regret anything like that. I liked my look that I brought. Um, the other couple girls that beat me were a little bit. They had bigger lats, they had bigger shoulders. Exactly what the judges told me, you know, that I needed to grow and stuff. As far as that goes, but you know, you have to have a respect for your competitors too. The people that they work their asses off too. They, you know, do all the things and everything else. And so, you know, it's just kind of you can be inspired by them too. And I'm happy and proud and all that for everyone who, you know, gets their pro card and does their thing and works really, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of freaking work. So the judges feedback there, it was good. And they said I had great shape, that my shape is absolutely there. That honestly, sometimes what ends up happening for me is, especially when I cut down really, really lean, well, my legs, they stay like pretty big. And so they stay, and my upper body kind of has a tendency to shrink down a little bit, you know? Because honestly, if you look at me, you know, people will be like, your shoulders, your lats, they're massive, they're huge. And I'm like, well, yeah, like they are, but for this, and then comparatively, you know, sometimes to my legs, they look a little small. So that's just what you have to do. I have to grow my shoulders, I have to grow my lats so that they can look in symmetrical, like with my legs and stuff. Because again, that is, you know, a lot of people have the problem of growing their legs. I do not have that problem. I can do body weight squats and these motherfuckers will grow. So like, that's just kind of my thing that I kind of have to work with, and keeping it dialed. That there's a certain, it's, you know, there's a certain shape and a certain look that you're trying to achieve. And so, yeah, you can get out of proportion, I guess you could say. You know, sometimes it looks out of proportion. My legs look a little too big for my upper body. And so honestly, I'm not going to shrink my legs. I'm going to grow my upper body to make it in comparison. So, but yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure. That was an experience. So I'm looking forward to, you know, the next national show with my next coach and having a totally different experience, and, you know, grinding and putting my best foot in there. And she's very confident. I'm try to stay very confident. I try to stay confident. She's definitely more confident in me than probably I'm in myself, because we judge ourselves very harshly. And that's the other thing is, you know, you have a bar set that's so high, and it's hard to even achieve your own bar that you set for yourself. Like, you just have this standard, and, you know, trying to live up to that standard every single day, every single prep, every single show, you know, if you're, you know, screwing things up, or if your mentality is down, if you're low. I mean, you know, things that go on in life can really drop you down, you know, just like anyone else, anything else. But like, you know, if you're dealing with a lot of stuff and your mind is just not like, you know, you can't put everything into it like you need to, and you have to deal with all these other emotions and these things and all that, like it can then make it so that you're being hard on yourself when you're not able to do all those little detailed things that go into prepping. I mean, just recently, a lot of kind of like blows hit for myself, and I had to have a serious conversation with Chelsea. We had to really sit down and kind of go over, like, this isn't the right time. You know, I wanted to do the Masters in California, in Venice Beach. So we were prepping for a while for it, but, you know, life is life, and you can't, you don't have control over certain things that happen. And, you know, it really kind of beat me down quite a bit mentally and emotionally and financially. And, you know, so And it's very hard. It's really hard to give up shows and to give up, let it go. But honestly, you have to. And she was really awesome in telling me that, like, Alaina, you're not letting anything go. You're not letting go. Like, we're gonna maintenance you out for the rest of the year. We're gonna, pick a show at the, next year. You're qualified for next year. You're fine. Just gives us a chance to actually help you grow even more, and all that. So, and get more, I get to rebuild from the ground up as far as my life and everything else, and that's fine. But for a while there, and everything, I was like really down and really low, and you get so hard on yourself when you're not living up to that bar that you set, that that you normally live by. And so, yeah, you can be your worst enemy for sure, and all that. And so, yeah, that's been definitely a hurdle as far as like what's going on here soon. I mean, it's okay though. I've had to drop shows before. Obviously, we talked about COVID and how these things happen, and it is life, and life is gonna happen, and it doesn't matter. Like, the world is gonna keep spinning no matter what happens to you. The world keeps spinning. It keeps circling. It doesn't stop for nobody. It doesn't stop for you to get your shit together and then, okay, we can go now. Like, no, that's not how it works. So you just, again, it's about not quitting, not giving up. Just because we have to let this show go or whatever, we're not quitting, we're not stopping, we're still going, we're still prepping, we're still going hard. And almost actually it has helped in a way, like letting that go for right now, this prep, because I am just not, I don't say mentally strong enough. It's just too much. Everyone has their tipping point, their scale of what they can take. And when there's just a lot of like really huge life changing things going on, I mean, like we said, the dedication and what you have to put into this and the sacrifices, if you're having to do huge monumental life changes, it's really hard to keep that, like, going. Prep is stressful all in its own. It's going to stress you out. It's going to stress your body out. Your cortisol is going to go up. Just that alone, and then throw in huge, life altering changes and things. It's just a lot, And she could see it on me, see it in my face, see it. I wasn't sleeping. I was getting so stressed, and already right there, stress alone. It's just not the right time, and you have to, again, thick skin. Thick skin comes in so much, because I don't like giving up. I don't like feeling like I'm giving up at all, or that I'm quitting, or that I'm failing. Like, that is like the worst thing for me. But again, it's all like mindset. You're not quitting anything. You're not giving up anything. You're just choosing. It's just a different time, the timing of things, and having to, accepting it, and not just accepting it, but like embracing it too. Cool. It's really hard.
That's the thing is, you sometimes it's good to take that step back for yourself. I know Chelsea understands that you need to do it. You need to do it. I mean, the sport's always going to be here. I
Yep.
mean, you can take the rest
Exactly.
of the year off and just enjoy just living. You can still prep and work out and
Yeah.
train, make
Yep.
those adjustments that the judges told you from the last show, and
Exactly.
just that's about it. You just like I said, this is why I've conversations I've had with ladies told me to George, this is not a race, it's a marathon.
No, it's a
And
long con.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
long con. So you
yeah,
gotta look at
and
it.
yeah, and you want to stay healthy. You want to stay because you
Yeah.
know what? Sometimes you get burned out. Sometimes I hear stories of things happen, people getting sick, and
Mm-hmm.
because stuff you have to do, you change your body, especially as a woman.
Oh
You're like
yeah.
and it's tough and can really affect. This sport can be mentally, physically, emotionally, financially draining. I keep saying that often,
Yeah.
and if there's no point where what, let me take a break, let me stop for a minute. Let me take some time
Because you
off. Let me
have
rest
you
a
have
little
to
bit.
be good first, and and I talked about this with Chelsea too. Life is never gonna be perfect. There's never gonna be this like opportunistic, like perfect time in life. There's always gonna be some things kind of going on, but there's limits to things, and how big things are and stuff, and how it is affecting you and everything, and so again, I almost thrive even better when like there's some bullshit going on and I have to overcome it. Like, that almost like makes it you go even harder. But then when there's too many like huge catastrophic things going on, and you're just kind of breaking down in these other ways, and then that's breaking your, like I said, your health is so much more important. And I could tell, like, I was just really getting, it was just, kind of eating you alive, really, everything. And then you're not healthy. Are you healthy when you're not sleeping? No. You're not healthy when you're being internally mean to yourself all the time, and you're not doing this enough, you're not doing this enough, you're not going hard at this, you're sucking at this, you're failing at this. That is absolutely not the mentality that you can have to be successful with it. You can't be terrible and mean to yourself and be bringing yourself down. And you have to have that internal, like, you know drive of, you're a freaking badass, you're going, you're doing this, like, doesn't, all those other things. You have to talk to yourself in a certain way. So if you notice, like, you're beating yourself down more than you're building yourself up internally inside yourself, like, you really got to look at that and what's going on, and why these negative things are coming in. And man, there's not a lot that's harder with that, because it feels like you're failing. It feels like you failed yourself to say, okay, I'm not going to do this show. I've worked so hard, like, this whole year and for this, but you know what? Like you said, the stage is always going to be there. It's going to be there next year, and I get to bring a better package and stuff that year. So it's so much mentality. But I'm a stubborn ass. And so shifting my mind, it takes a minute. Like, I have this, like, I say I go through stages, right? Where it's like denial. My first one is denial. Nope. I'm not giving up. I'll be fine. I will be fine. And then you kind of have this, like, acceptance where you're like, okay, I'm not that fine. I gotta, but you're still kind of fighting it and stuff, but you're kind of coming to that acceptance. And then you have, and then Chelsea really helped me come to, like, that peace phase of, like, being at peace with what's going on, and, really digging hard into yourself as far as, your own what are your own demons right now? What is going on that is, these dark places, or these, things that are affecting you, and what are those things that are affecting you and bringing you down, and how are you going to change that and fix that? And, those things take time. Everything takes time. Like, and so you have to be patient with yourself, give yourself grace. And then there's the embracing it phase where I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm embracing this. This is good. This is actually good. This is great. But it takes me a minute, because I have a hard time with it. And I know that about myself. When I commit to something, I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm dedicated, and I'm all in for it. I am. And there's almost hardly anything that can get me to veer off the path of what I have decided and I'm determined to do. But yeah, you can't. Is it worth killing yourself over? No. Is it worth your health, like, going to absolute crap? No. It's not worth any of that. I have a daughter I'm trying to live for, and all that. So I have my work, and sometimes, you got to envelop yourself. Again, I'm still in the gym all day, every day, like, training people. It's not like anything. And I'm still going hard. I'm still training hard. In fact, it's the pressure of taking off of the show has, like, allowed me to actually get into the gym and train better and train harder. My food and stuff, like, this is my lifestyle, so I'm dialed in. I'm always really dialed in. I'm not, even in my off seasons and stuff, me and Chelsea have really talked about that too. Like, off season's not really off season. Like, we eat maybe more calories of certain things, more carbs of certain things, more fat, but, like, it's clean. It's clean. It's a clean build, and that way you still feel yourself. I still, I can't really go veer off the path. That's too much. So staying in my zone, like I said, it's not giving anything up. It's just changing the direction, changing your path, and you have to change your mindset with it. Otherwise, it's just, you'll bury yourself big time. And
yeah, because you know what, you have to take that time, because you know what, you got to take a stop for a minute, take a deep breath before you do anything. Because sometimes you don't want to risk, because like I said, you live for your daughter. Most definitely, she wouldn't want you to make yourself sick over this. And I know you love the sport, but you love your child more. We have a comment here from a man, Chad says, "Oh my God, the podcast is still on now. I'm on break now. I thought I was gonna miss this podcast tonight.
Oh my God.
Also,
Thank
this is from my man Sean McMillan. He says, um, good evening, George and Alaina. I appreciate it, brother. Also, he says to me, he says, he likes my shirt. He says, George, cool
Oh,
Star
it is
Wars
cool.
shirt.
It is very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I've had it for quite some time. I'm a Star Wars fan. I got another Star Wars shirt. It's a different one. Here also, this from man Shine says, Alaina, you have a great physique. What female bodybuilder do you look up to? You should have been here earlier, brother. I got chastised you. She's a fan of my girlfriend.
Rewind and then
Yeah, if you want to watch it, here we watch. I keep telling you guys, you know the schedule is. I understand you're busy, but if you want to come in the top of the hour. So I don't have to go over this again. This is a moving forward. We don't want to go back. All right, I understand you guys want to know, but hey, watch. If you missed it, watch it later. Okay, so we're not going to keep it much longer, and we do appreciate the time she's given us. It's tough being both a woman, an athlete, a mother, a trainer, a friend in sport, the
yeah.
sacrifice and the time you have to make to put into it.
Mhm.
And like I said, you was planning on doing Masters USA's.
Yeah, in California, it was gonna be it's like the end of November and stuff. Was the plan, and that was on schedule. And so now, um, yeah, Chelsea pretty much was like, I'm not gonna tell you what show you're gonna do. She's like, we're just gonna prep, and then like when we're like 6, 8 weeks out, I'll tell you what we're doing. So just save your money, just get your sponsorship money, all that. But like, she kind of changed. I am such a planner, like for and it probably shoots me in the foot in all facets of life because I am just one of those that I like to know what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and I have to plan accordingly. Also being a single mom and everything like that, it's not like money just falls from the trees, okay? Like we have to plan these things out. I just have to, and that's just how I am. I'm a cheap ass, and I have to really structure my money in certain ways to make it last. And for me, that's planning. And I feel it calms me. Having a plan in place calms me. Um, when things are not planned and they're chaotic, my mind gets a little chaotic. Like that's just kind of how I have to be. I have to, I don't want to say I'm OCD, but I have to have certain my things in order and my things placed where they're at. And I'm very routine. So I get really messed up when my routine's messed up. And when things kind of get a little chaotic in life, I guess you'd say, right? And you don't know how the outcome of certain things are going to go. I have a hard time with that. I struggle with it. So yeah, having things planned in place, that's very important and helpful. So, but Chelsea
Well,
was like, we're just not going to do that. We're just going to prep. And then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do.
what my other guy does, he doesn't have a plan. He's
Yeah.
a dog chasing cars. He only gets when you know what to do with it. Sometimes chaos and anarchy is something that can build you. The
Hmm.
things that sometimes can make you stranger, make you stronger.
Yeah,
So
they can. Oh,
yeah,
they
yeah.
do. Because that's where I struggle. And so when you are forced to deal with the chaosness and all of that, there's no other choice, but you have to get through it and you have to do it. Yeah, it does make you stronger. I mean, there's no other way about it. You either get stronger and you get through it or you sink. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
sink.
this is one thing. One of my favorite quotes is from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, where he says, "Why do we fall, Master Wayne? We learn to pick ourselves up. And sometimes every now and then you fall. But that's the thing is, if you pick yourself up and keep doing what you need to do, keep moving forward, take that time to stack your chips. Like I said, there's quite a few shows that's national qualifiers. There's Team
Yeah.
Collegiate. There's North
Yes.
Americans. There's one show that's it's in there. It's a bodybuilder pro qualifier. I don't know if you know about it or not. I
Uh-huh.
interviewed a lady who did a show a while back. A friend of mine also competed there. It's the Miss International. And
Uh-huh.
it is, yeah, where all you got to do is compete you can win your pro card in your weight class, and you just
Uh-huh.
do the overall, and you get invited to the Rise of Phoenix. This year, the girl who won the overall, she didn't take the invitation. She turned it down.
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, some people don't want to be exactly, but you got to be standing stage with people like
Everyone has their
Andre.
reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like, why would you do that? Well, everyone's got their reasons for whatever it is.
whether the cost, and then sometimes you think about
Yeah.
it, you feel like you're not ready to go up stage with some people like Andrea Shaw and Angela Yo and Ashley and Sherry Piami and a lot of these ladies who are already Olympic qualified, and you've been competing for a long time. I mean, you feel like you're ready for that. You know, it's tough.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing is there are quite a few. It's harder. I think not as many shows. I think you have the Masters coming up. The
Yeah.
USA Masters. You have the Amateur Olympia. You have Nationals, North Americans. You know, there's shows here
Yeah.
and there. But it's just about what show fits within your
Yeah.
time
It's great.
preparation.
I
You know,
mean, but I think North Americans is what Chelsea was really kind of talking about. So I know that she's got her eye on that one for me, and so I was like, dang, that's in August. Oh my god. Okay, that's all right then. Fine. Fine. Shit.
well, if you want this, like I say, you can, like I said, Team Collegiate is like maybe a month before North
Uh-huh.
Americans. So maybe you could Chelsea, hey, Chelsea, if we
Right.
don't, let's do a test show first.
Right. Let's
You
do a
know, let's
pre-show. A
yeah,
pre-show.
let's jump into Team Collegiate, see how we doing that one, and then
Yeah.
we don't, we can do North Americans. You know, sometimes this is the thing. I know she's your coach, but you're the client, and when
You
you
know me.
have
I do what she says. I ain't gonna freaking
mm,
backtalk her. No.
you
No.
know, it's not be a bad talk. It's just like sometimes this thing is sometimes I got a friend of mine. She could have went to Olympia a couple of years ago. She had a coach, and we were talking. She said she could have done a show which was just 2 hours away. She was. She was in good condition,
Yeah.
but because she listens to a coach, sometimes I know I'm saying you got to let your coach, but sometimes you got to have your own mind, go by your own feelings. I respect Chelsea. I respect your relationship,
Oh
but
yeah.
sometimes you're the one who's on the stage competing, not her. She's a pro. Yes, I understand that, but you got to take opportunities where it's at, you know.
Yeah.
And
And that's
sometimes
what's sweet about her too, because she definitely cares. She's my friend, she's my best friend, right? So
yeah,
she'll listen to me, and she cares about what I want. But I love that her first and foremost priority is my health, because I won't put that first and foremost. You know what I mean? Like she will, I will make that suffer to do what I want, basically. So she's, my good influence. I do listen to her, but she does. It's really nice that she does listen to me, and she knows what I have, my little issues with, my struggles, and what I want to do. And she knows, like, I do want to compete. I do want all those things, but I mean, there's really no point if you're not going to bring your best package up. Like, who wants to do all that to not bring their best potential up there and stuff? So she makes me really dig deep into myself and be real about things, and be in reality about things, because otherwise, again, I'm just stubborn, and I'm just like, I want to do it. I don't care. I'll figure it out. I don't know. And sometimes that's great to have that drive and that willpower of like, I don't care how I make it happen. I'll just make it happen. And sometimes that's like kind of like you're throwing yourself under the bus a little bit, and you're not doing what is really best for yourself health wise and stuff like that, because your mind and your mental health it's just as important as your physical health. But I know a lot of us, we've gone through and dealt with a lot of tribulations and shit in life, and I do like to think, like I'm mentally, I am mentally strong, and I'm mentally very strong and emotionally very strong. But there's some things that hit you and your own sensitivities and your own things in their own way, and we're all capable of being kind of like broke down and kind of just beat down and everything else. And it's okay. It's not the worst thing, and you can't destroy yourself from it. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be helpful in your goals. I mean, the goal and the stage is always going to be there, and so you might get knocked down, but I'm glad that I have her, because she doesn't let me stay down for long, and I don't stay down for long. I'm definitely a fighter, and I just can't help it. I can't help it. It's just part of the mentality and the internal part of it. And, just wanting to keep driving, even though you're getting beat the hell down all the time. You're still going to fight. That's kind of my way and stuff, and how I deal with it. And it just helps get it out. And I don't like to say no. I don't like to say quit. I don't like to any of those things. So getting put in check a little bit is helpful with it. Like, you need to really care about those things, and they're very important. So I honestly have not had a coach like her that has cared so much about my emotional and mental health so much. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of coaches, I don't say a lot of coaches, some. There's some out there. They don't really care about any of that so much, because if they're prepping you, they're getting money. You know what I mean? You're paying them. So otherwise, if you got to take a step back and you have to, deal with some things over here, and you're not in training and prep and all that, like, that's their job. That is their job. So, she really doesn't care about any of, like, besides me being healthy and me being in a good place and mindset, and, you know, getting my feet under me again and feeling, confident. Because sometimes that's what happens. We can be some of the most confident people in a lot of ways, but when certain things happen that diminish your value and diminish your confidence, just stacking up, and you're like, man, I had just a day, and it was like, it just hit me. I was like, I am having an issue with, like, self-confidence, and this is new for me. I'm a pretty, like, confident individual, but when certain things, happen in life that tick that, like, so many, and you just start, I just came to, like, that realization, like, dang, I'm having an issue with this. Okay, I need to deal with it, because this is not a normal issue for me. It's not a thing. I'm not confident. I'm confident, but certain things that happen, they really screw with your confidence a bit, and your self-esteem and your self-value and your self-worth. And when you notice yourself, like, saying things like, why am I not worthy enough for this? Why don't, why isn't, um, why do I not matter enough for this? And things that it's not you, it's usually whatever the other circumstance is. Um, but when you start feeling that way a lot, yeah, your self-value and worth starts to really go down. And that's dangerous, honestly. It's quite dangerous to lose
It,
that. And I'm like, I can't
it,
understand.
it happens a lot to with a lot of athletes, but people say like this: "Suck it up, buttercup, keep moving." But the thing is,
Yeah, it is.
if your body's not willing, then your mind's not willing. The body's not gonna go with it. You have to take care of the mind as much
So
as the
true.
body. And some
Yep.
people who never been an athlete, who never competed, who never understand what it takes to what y'all people do, what
Yeah.
you men and women do in this sport,
You'll
be
just
it
hold
football,
water, your
basketball,
cortisol will
yeah,
be all high. You're
and
not going to reach your peak potential when
yeah, yeah.
all of that's going on.
And then
So,
see, for the people as us like myself who's outsiders, we go to the shows, we see you on the stage. We see you
yeah.
all pumped up, you're oiled up, you're tanned up, you're on the stage, you're shiny, that. But people forget you're tired, you're dehydrated,
Oh, yeah.
you're sleep deprived,
You're close
you're
to
low,
death.
yeah, you're low on carbs, everything so much to sport. We gotta understand that it takes a lot, especially you want to get dedicated. And then we feel like, you know what? I need to take a step back for a moment. I need to take a breather. I need to see, do I really want to stick with this? If not, then, I can go ahead and move on. But
Yeah.
this is a lot of you ladies who got into sport because this is a sport that kind of helped you with some of your mindset. You
Oh,
found
yeah.
a passion for it
Hmm.
and you love to compete. You love to be on the
Yes,
stage.
I
And
do. And that's the thing. And she had to really ingrain in my head, like, no, this is because it's not a quitting of any sense. In fact, I'm almost like ingraining and digging in deeper now than I was, because this pressure is alleviated. And, I've actually had some freaking insane beast ass workouts lately that, before I just, you feel weak because you internally feel weak. And so it kind of exudes out externally. And so taking certain pressures off and giving yourself grace, because you're not quitting anything. It's really not quitting. You're dropping into a different phase. You go back, you're in a build phase. You're still in prep. You're still doing it. You need those foundational blocks, like, set back up again. You cannot do this while feeling like you are not worthy of anything. You can't do this when you feel completely like your value is shit. Like, you just can't. Um, and so when I know what it's like to not be like that, to have all that. So I need to just go through these things that I need to go through and deal with them, and then it'll come. It'll come. Like, and essentially, I'm a very strong and confident, and I take a lot of pride and value in myself, and naturally. But shit in life happens, and it affects us all in different ways. So this is just, certain things have affected me in these certain ways and gotten me like this. But I mean, you just know, like, I'm a fighter and I'm gonna be fine, and I'm not quitting anything. I couldn't. Like, I told her, I was like, Chelsea, I I can't stop. Like, I will have nothing. I will be so defeated out. And everyone's just like, Alaina, you're not quitting nothing. Stop stopping. She's like, we're both doing this together. We're both in a maintenance phase. We're both building. We're going to do this together. And I'm like, okay. It is literally how you're looking at it, your mindset. You can see something and be in this negative mindset and have these negative thoughts and everything else, or you can look at the same situation and look at it in a different angle, in a different perspective, in a different light, and grab the positivity that's involved in there. And sometimes it is really freaking hard to find some positivity in there, but there usually is. Even if it is rebuilding your life, like restructuring your life, like having this whole new thing. And I have a hard time with change. I'm sure everyone kind of does a little bit, but like, I crave my stability, I crave my peace, I crave my consistency with things. And so when things are chaotic and multiple things are chaotic, those get me. We're human, right? We're human. And so we all have our strengths and our weaknesses and things like that. So, but what I do know about myself is I'm not a fucking, I may be a lot of things, but I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. I fight for what I want. I fight for what I want in every aspect of life. And sometimes that even shoots me in the foot too, but it is what it is. I am who I am. I'm gonna, do what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it, and embrace who I am and how I am. And like you said, if you like it, then that's great. And if you don't want to be a part of it, fuck off. It's fine.
Yeah, like Popeye said, I am what I am. That's all what I am.
Who I am.
Yeah,
You
that's
either
all
like
what I
it
am.
or you don't. I don't
Because
care.
you know what? There's a lot to the sport that people need to understand. Like I said again, the consistency, the diet, everything else. And it's good that you have a good coach that supports you. Because I know ladies who have gotten coaches where they give them a cookie cutter plan. It doesn't work for everybody. Especially as a woman, because you're differently built. Your chemistry is different. Your body's different. Biology is different. What works for a man doesn't work for a woman. And to do this sport, on in on every day where, like I said again, not a lot of money in it because you got to pay as a competitor. Even when you become a pro, you got to pay your pro card,
Oh yeah.
and the travel, the cost, everything involved with it. But if you want something bad enough and
You
you
figure it
commit,
out.
you commit yourself to the idea, then nothing
Yeah.
can hold you back. You can just,
Yeah.
it's tough. Some days I know you don't want to get up and do this size. You rather eat cereal with your kid and you watch
Of course.
TV. But if you want anything bad enough, you have to put the work in. You have to make those sacrifices. And there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make.
Oh,
Time, money. I know there's times where you wish you can go out and hang out with your friends like you used to, but you can't because, like I said, you can't go. You hadn't really to be to a restaurant because
no.
you can't eat.
I
You
don't
can't eat
even
that
remember
food.
last time I was at one. Or when
Yeah,
you go to barbecues, even
you
holidays
bring
and
your own
stuff.
food.
Yeah, you have to bring your
Yeah,
own food. You bring your own food, and you're
yeah,
drinking water while they're having drinks or something, and
yeah.
all
I
that kind of
mean,
stuff. And as long as you are okay, like, because everyone, it almost like makes other people feel uncomfortable weirdly and stuff. It's kind of interesting. But I mean, ultimately, like you said, my family's trained now. They know. Like, Alaina's gonna bring her own food. She'll bring her own thing. Don't even ask her. Don't even ask her what she wants. Don't ask her if you can make her something. She's gonna handle her own shit. And so it's like your people around you, and it's almost like they get trained. They know. They eventually they know. You just let her do her thing. She does her shit. So, yeah. But you just living against the grain a little bit. But it's not that you don't want to. Sometimes, of course. But I don't know. I want this more than I want that. That's what I do know. Is like, I have this big goal and it takes this much time and all this stuff, and I want that more than I want that cookie. Like, I do want that cookie. I want that.
yeah, that's the thing. Like after your last show, what was that thing, Alaina? What was that thing that called you? That thing you desired the most after that last show?
Of
Because I
carbs.
know, yes. What is
So
that
I went
thing?
and got. We went to an Italian restaurant, and I got a big old thing of spaghetti and like French Italian bread, and yeah, that was so good. It was really really good, for sure. That was super the best. I mean, I've done all kinds of things, but um, I was really proud of myself because obviously there's that hard part of like when you get done with a show and you binge, and I've done that. And get sick and all that kind of stuff. But also that's come with a lot of experience of like, okay, learning to control yourself still and reverse and do things in a healthy-ish way. Definitely I do take like, the next 2 days I'm gonna have what the hell I want for sure. But in reason, I don't want to, get sick and be sick. Who wants to do that? But yeah, I wanted spaghetti so bad. And so that's when I went and got spaghetti. And then I want chocolate because I am a chocolate lover. Like I love chocolate. So I have to have my chocolate, get my chocolate fix, all that kind of stuff. Cereal. I love cereal so much. So then I, get a couple things, and then I set myself up though really good, right? So I went to the store and Coral was my daughter, she was with me, and got like these little, those little kids like boxes, the single serving boxes of the cereals and stuff. So I got like a few of those and the different flavors that I got. And so that way I wasn't getting like a whole box of this and a whole box of this. I was set up. So I had like, it was like portioning still, right? So I could still have all the things that I wanted. And actually you get more of the things that you want by doing that. Instead of getting a big thing of cookies, I was telling them, I'm like, I need to find, the bakery and they package up like single cookies at a time. I'm like, I'm just gonna have a cookie and this and this. And so it did help. It was helpful. But yes, I mean, I love sweets and I love food and I love eating and all that. I mean, I cook and I bake even. I bake crazy creations in prep and stuff. It's kind of one of the things I'm known for as well is my baking and cooking. And I like to make all those things and I don't obviously get to partake in them necessarily. But Coral's my little food taster and she tastes all my stuff. And so I have fun with that and everything. And it's kind of a weird, like sick, deranged thing. I'm going to make all these cookies and pies and treats and all everything. And you don't get to have any of it, but I get gratification from seeing other people enjoy it and stuff and everything. So it's kind of one of my little side things. It's really funny. The bodybuilder chick, she bakes all the treats, but it's just fun for me.
Yeah, you're not the first one because I know I interviewed a lady. Her name is Christina Ware. She just turned pro this year. She told me the same thing that she'll bake and she'll make her husband and she'll watch her husband and daughter eat the cakes and the bread and the cookies because a lot of you bodybuilders are foodie.
Gratifying still. I don't know how to explain it. It's just still like you get that same. It's not the same, but you get to see them envelop in it, and it's just like almost it's like a project. It's just something to do. It's your own little hobby and it's still art. I like to do, make cakes and I make like, my family's birthday cakes and make them all schmancy and all that kind of stuff. And it's just fun. There's only so many fun things we can do. I mean, so I just enjoy it and I love letting other people get to enjoy it and stuff. So it is fun. I like it. Cheesecake, they're my specialty.
Yeah, so you're pretty much living through their stomachs because you get to watch them eat. Yeah,
and I get to smell it. I mean, I smell it. I'm like, oh, it smells good. It's perfect.
Yeah, we have a comment from a man. It's my man, Davras Adams. He says, "Good evening, peeps. Thank you, Davras." Also, from Chad, he came back to you and says, "Good night, brother George. Good night, brother Chad. We see you around. He's going back to work." Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to the sport that people would never understand unless you're in it. The sacrifice time you have to make, the work you got to put in. And I know you really wanted to compete this year, but it's good that you take a step back.
Yeah.
And, save yourself. Because like I said, there's shows next year. There's plenty of shows.
And in the realm of time, right? Like, in the realm of time, is that really a lot of time in the time of like span of like your life or years? Like, it's really not that long of time, but it just seems like it because you want to do it now, you want to do it now. So it's hard to be patient. Come on. Who's really super amazing at patience?
Well, I had to learn to be patient, especially when I take care of my mom, because that's the thing you have to learn, to be patient, to deal with, things that's going on in your life. And like I say, it's good to take that step back, to revive yourself. Yeah. And like I said, the sport's gonna be there when you're ready. And when you're ready, because like I said, it's like I said, not that long, it won't be long for Thanksgiving, Christmas. You can enjoy that time,
I know that's what she said. Like, we're gonna enjoy the holidays. I'm like, I don't want to enjoy them that much though. Like, this gives me anxiety. Oh my gosh. But no, I mean, yes, it's going to be fun to get to enjoy things and the pressure. For me right now, it's like that pressure because I will put tenfold pressure on myself more than anyone else will. And I will be harder on myself than anyone else will. And I will look at myself and judge myself harsher than anyone else. And so just alleviating that pressure off when you're going through and you're, stabilizing so many things in your life and everything, like taking that pressure off, it really is, it makes a huge difference. And then when those things are in track again, it might not be perfect, but at least in a good stability place and stuff where you feel grounded and your foundation is there again. I mean, then you can, okay, your mind, I was like, my mind can only think of like so many things, Chelsea. I'm forgetting like the stupidest things. Cause like your brain has just got so much in it and so many worries and stresses. You're thinking about all these things and trying to get them on. There's only so many hours in the day. And so I'm like, literally don't have time to sleep in order to get all the things done. Like there's no sleeping or anything, and that's just terrible for you. So yeah, I'm Chelsea, I'm forgetting the dumbest shit. Like what the heck? And it's just because there's this like overflow, it's overspan, and you need to find it somewhere
Let me give you
down.
some advice for a man who I used to hold two jobs, and I rarely have time to do anything,
Hmm.
And sometimes you need to take that chance and just step back and take a breather. Don't let your mind control too much. Just sometimes
Yeah.
just relax. And sometimes if you got to go somewhere, like find some peace, like
Yes.
send your little girl over to your grandma's house and let her sit
Hmm.
there. You just turn the TV off, listen to
Yep.
some music, just
Find peace for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, vibe with yourself. And
Yep.
when you take that time and vibe with yourself, you'll find yourself. You'll find that comfort. And like I said again, the shows are going to be there. And when you take this time, you might just need this time to really come. You probably look better condition. You can come looking popping,
That
look
is what is
amazing.
so frustrating too, in a sense, because it's like everything is. I've worked so hard, and I then Chelsea said, because she's like, why are you self conscious right now? Why are you have any confidence issues? Like Alaina, you look the best you've ever fucking looked right now, and I'm just like, I know this, but at the same time, you're like messed up. You just have all these things, and you're messed up, and you're not looking
Body
at yourself in the
dysmorphia.
right light. So yeah, it's so true. Like, oh man. And sometimes during the hardships and the hard times is when I do look the best because I'm leaning into bodybuilding hard. I'm lean because that's what I can control. That's what's there. And so sometimes for me that's when I really lean into it hard. But there's those mentality pressures of show too. So it's one thing to lean into bodybuilding and lean into your training and grinding as far as like having really good intense workouts and eating good so that you feel good and stuff, because let's be real, if you get that low and you just eat a bunch of shit.
I just lost her. I don't know. I don't know, might be some technical difficulties on her end. Guys, you still see me? Like, I think something must have happened, but we'll give it a minute. We have here a comment from my man, Davers Adams. He says, cheesecake are so good. Yeah, it's not much of a cheesecake guy. I've never been too much a fan of it. But we'll give her a few minutes, folks. And we'll see if she comes back. It might be something technical. Once she's figured out, we'll see if she comes back. But as you know, folks, we have coming up tomorrow is the Titans Grand Prix. It is going to be, I think, it's the last bodybuilding show for Olympic qualification. I don't know if they're going to do a live stream on that show. I've heard from Female Bodybuilding Channel there's no live stream on it. I didn't see a pay-per-view link on the I think muscle contest page. Um, I'm going to check if something it must be something technical, because like I said, let's turn my phone off because I don't want it to bother me while we're ringing. Let me see. We'll give her, like I said, a couple of minutes because I think she's still there, but she might have got a call. So But I do like to thank you guys for coming through here. My man Davris Adams, my brother KL the Wanderer, also Sean McMillan, Chad, you came through here. Chad, so many questions I couldn't get to all of them because you know, and folks, like I said, this is a tough sport when you get into it. I mean, there's a lot of things you got to understand. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. I know you guys you're more the guys outside looking in, where you follow these ladies, you like their bodies, you like their physiques, but it's a lot of work to this. So, like I said, I turned my phone off earlier because, like I said, I hate when my phone's always sending me things. We'll give her a minute. If not, what we're gonna do is I'll play a little ditty for y'all guys. Y'all can listen to some music. Give me a second. I will pull up a little something for y'all so you can listen. I'm gonna check and see if she's coming back or not. We'll just end the live stream. So give me a second. Well, folks, I don't know what's going on. Might be something technical difficulties with uh, Alina, Alana. I was trying to get back with her. Like I said, turned my phone off earlier, but it might be something that came up. But folks, what I'm gonna do is I do appreciate the time she gave us. I do appreciate her. I wish her all the best of luck. I think, maybe, like I said again, it's important for yourself as a competitor to take the time off, to take into evaluate where you want to go, how you want to do, take the rest. But I do wish her all the best in her when she finally does set and make the time for pro debut or do qualification. Shout outs to also for Chelsea Rogers. Shout out to Adam who was here earlier. Shout out to everybody who was here. My man Davis Adams, Sean McMillan, all you who came in. Like I said earlier, I appreciate the time. From my man Davis, he says this hard work pays off. It does, brother. If you are willing to, if you want it bad enough, you can work hard enough for it, it will pay off. So, folks, we appreciate y'all coming through. Shout out to to Alaina. I mean, I'm sorry I got her name wrong. Shout out to her. Wish her best of luck, and I appreciate y'all for coming through. This is your man, always your page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't subscribe. I am out.